Hello friends, welcome back to another video, or if you are new here, welcome. If you saw my post from last week, you will know that I was a little under the weather and I, during that time, chose to not really do a lot of cleaning. As you can tell, my house never usually gets this dirty, but I just kind of laid low. I was not just bedridden the entire time, but I chose to kind of rest and not deal with housework. So it did build up. It was kind of all over, and we're going to take care of that today. I don't know if anyone else is like me, but after I have been sick for a little bit, and I'm starting to feel better, I get this like urge, this burst of energy almost to kind of go throughout the whole house and clean. And that is what I kind of dealt with. So this is actually going to be 2 days because I got a burst of energy later in the day and wanted to start cleaning and getting everything back in order. But then it kind of started hitting me after a little while, and then it got dark and I'm like, you know what, I'll just save this for the next day. So that is what I did. So to start off, I am walking around and showing you all the different damage that we are going to be tackling today. This also happened during Halloween whenever I was sick. So there are costumes and dog costumes and candy and wrappers and just everything all over the place. So I don't know if I was sick and then I got up and I was feeling a lot better, and then I'm just like, okay, I need to tackle this to feel even better. So anyway, there was stuff from us cleaning or redoing our bathroom. This is our dirty clothes. So I'm getting the clean clothes out of the way so I can start some more loads and have those going. I had kids that were like, I don't have any underwear. So it was time to start some clothes. I am not going to be getting to folding our mountain of laundry though until the end of the video. I saved that for last, but I made sure I included it because, you know, it is everybody's favorite part. No, I'm just kidding. I know everybody hates laundry, or at least I do, and I just assume everybody hates laundry, but I saved that for the very end to fold and put everything away. So if you're wanting to see that, that's where that will be, and it's just going to chill on my bed until I get to that point. So I'm going to start a couple loads of laundry, and then I'm going to backtrack a little in the video. Before I started all this, I went ahead and started some dinner. We have some beef stew going on the stove. I wanted to put it in the crock pot, but I ended up just starting it on the stove because if you know me, I always start way too late, but I always kind of think it tastes a little better on the stove anyway. So I had it going low and slow on the stove while I was cleaning, and then it was the perfect dinner to have that night. There is something about cold weather, and when you have not been feeling good, that a big pot of beef stew is just the most incredible meal. I kept this recipe really, really simple. One, because I didn't really want to cook, and two, because I sometimes, I just like having it really simple, and so that is what I did. So I have some olive oil going in the pot. I am dicing up some onions, and I'm doing them in kind of larger chunks. I do not go crazy with vegetables. I put in just like carrots. I wanted to do green beans, but I ended up forgetting. I did do celery because I love celery in soups and stews. So I'm going to, I got the beef, what are they? Stew meat? I think it's stew meat. So I ended up getting that. However, afterwards, I felt like, I should have probably, like it broke apart really nicely, but I felt like for my kids, I probably should have chopped it up even more so. So next time I will be doing that, but I'm getting it searing on the stove really quick and just doing salt and pepper. Once that has seared for the most part, then I'll start adding in the vegetables, and then I add in, instead of broth, I ended up doing 2 packages of the au jus gravy mix, and then I added in 2 large mason jars of water just to kind of cover it over top, and then I put the lid on it and I let it go low and slow for several hours while I was cleaning. Another reason why I was wanting to get to all of this cleaning today was, I don't know if everybody's like hyping it up this year or what, but I was really excited to take down all of our fall and Halloween decor. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be taking everything down, cleaning everything, getting it nice and a nice clean slate. I always love that whenever you take down decor and your house does not feel cluttered. It is nice and fresh and clean, and it's just like it's bare usually, and I know a lot of people don't like that, but I like that for a moment. It just feels like it's almost like fresh air, like you can breathe for a minute. So I actually really enjoy that, and I'm looking forward to that. I am also looking forward to putting up Christmas decorations a little earlier this year. I usually wait till closer till Thanksgiving, but we have a lot going on. So I'm thinking that if I could get that out of the way and also take my time with it, spend a week or two just slowly putting it up, instead of having to kind of get it all up at once. I think I might do that. So I'm looking forward to getting all that up this year a little earlier, and then also being able to enjoy it longer, and then having that out of the way so I can feel like I can do the other things and not have to worry about that. So I think I'm going to be doing that. I put everything away during this video. I have it all boxed up and put into storage, and I have not yet taken the Christmas decor out. So it's just a matter of time before I do that. I'm enjoying the nice clean house at the moment. I'm curious to know who else is putting up Christmas earlier this year, or do you have a specific day? I know a ton of people, including myself up until a couple years ago, will wait until like Thanksgiving weekend to put up all their Christmas decor. So that is what I used to do, and I know a ton of people do that, but it doesn't really have much to do with me being on YouTube, honestly. I know in the YouTube world, November 1st, everything usually goes up in everybody's house, and I kind of don't really care about that as much. I stick to my own timeline, and I don't really let the other people influence me too much on that. But I do know that it gets, you watch those videos and you get antsy. You're like, oh, I kind of want to put up mine. That would be exciting. But when do you put up your Christmas decor? Do you wait until Thanksgiving? Do you do it? I know there are people that actually wait until very close to Christmas. Do you like to have it up really early? Are you a November 1st decorator? When do you put up your Christmas stuff? I would love to know. I'm showing you the Butterfinger that my kids, they know that I love Butterfingers, so they were kind of saving me Butterfingers, and they would put them in here on the kitchen island for me for whenever I was feeling better. But I thought it was kind of sweet that they were putting aside Butterfingers for me. As I'm cleaning this, I'm like noticing how completely bare my island looks. Usually I will have like a centerpiece here, and I ended up moving it a couple weeks ago. We had people over and I moved it to kind of get out of the way, and then I just left these paper towels here. However, the fan, my husband, he keeps turning the fan on, and these paper towels were driving me crazy, so I ended up moving them, and now the island feels incredibly bare. I will be putting, whenever we put our Christmas stuff up, I will end up putting like a Christmas tree here. I do a small one, and I like to decorate it with dried oranges, but until then I'll probably just leave it bare. It just looks so weird to me though. I like to switch up the cleaning products that I use. I feel like it makes it fun in a way. It kind of makes things a little different, and I like to often switch up the different cleaning products that I am using. So today I am going back to the tried and true hot water, Dawn dish soap, and a little bit of a citrus essential oil. I swear that mixture, it is very versatile. You can use it on so many different things. It works well on your windows if you don't use a lot, and then it just works really well for a lot of like dirt and grime and grease. So right now, because that is what I'm primarily working with, I am using that, and it works so nicely. I did get a new Pine Sol cleaner for the floor. They didn't have the one just the original scent that I usually get, so I don't even know what it is, but it's like the blue one. I got that because my floors need done so bad, and I noticed that there's like a film kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It's not really a film. It's like spots or something on my floor. So anyway, it is driving me insane. So I will be getting to that a little later, and I wanted to make sure, usually I'll just use like really hot water and maybe some Dawn dish soap in my bucket when I'm mopping. I don't usually use very heavy stuff. Sometimes I'll use some vinegar, but I actually didn't have any. I ran out. I didn't run to the store or anything like that. And my daughter, she had done a science experiment or something, and she was using it. So anyway, I didn't have any vinegar, and I ended up just using this new Pine Sol, which smelled amazing. It smelled really good. So I'm excited about that. But I ended up, you'll see a little later on, that I'm like scrubbing the floors on my hands and knees, trying to get whatever was on my floor up. It was just, it's still there because I ended up finding out what it is. We'll talk about it a little later. But anyway, I am using a bunch of different products. I like rotating my products, and it kind of just makes cleaning a little more fun, especially when you're cleaning all the time. So that is what I am doing today, and that is what I'll be using. I promise you, I will not be doing dishes this entire video, even though it feels like it. I kept doing the dishes and getting them done, and then I would walk around and I would find more dishes. So that is what I'm doing here. And actually, these dishes that I'm doing now are my own contribution, because these were my cups that I've had sitting around. So I walked around, found more dishes, and now I'm doing them to just get them out of the way, get everything nice and clean, and put back where it belongs, which feels like the first time in almost a week that we've had that. I am going to be switching a couple things around here. So this oil diffuser has stopped working. It was humming the last time I used it, and I noticed it's not really using any of the water or anything like that. So I'm going to get rid of that. And then I put this container of utensils there. If you saw my video, when was that? Like last week, I think. I was going on about how I didn't have any idea what to do with all of the utensils. They're in different areas and it's driving me crazy. That thing of utensils was in my pantry, which it had no business really being in there. So I ended up, when I moved the oil diffuser, that kind of made some space, and I'm like, you know what, let's just test out putting the utensils over here with the cookbook. So that's what I did, and I actually really like that right now. So I moved that, and I am deep cleaning the sink because it grosses me out when there's been like dirty dishes for a little bit, a hot second. And like stuff I don't know, the sink is just so gross. I think it's supposed to be one of like the grossest things in your house. I could be wrong. I could totally be making that up, but I swear that I had heard that at one point, and it is something that really grosses me out. So that is something I always like to do. Now I am cleaning the window, and if you have been here for a hot second, you will know that I am just wasting my time. I'm so sorry, but I cannot stop complaining about this. It drives me crazy. You know it. As soon as I was done with that, my kids came in and like put their faces on it. So it's like a magnet to my children, and it's a complete waste of time, but I still do it. So there's that. I am moving on to the cabinets. I try to really stay on top of these for the most part. So they really just needed a really quick wipe down, and that was pretty much it. I am using, again, that hot water, Dawn dish soap, and essential oil. It does have to be citrus because it works significantly better for like the grime and sticky things. So it is always citrus, like a lemon. I think I have orange in here today, but Again, I like mixing it up, but it does need to be citrus in order to really work very well. So I am wiping everything down, and this, sadly to report, this is another thing that my kids are like a magnet to, because I got up the very next morning after doing this and there was chocolate that had like dripped, or I think it was chocolate, but it had like dripped all over the drawers and handles. And then also they had then like they must have had it on their fingers and went and got a cup or a bowl or something, because it was across the kitchen then and it was on a different handle. So I'm like, what is happening? Every time, I swear, I almost can't even clean until my kids are grown and out of the house. I'm starting to wonder, because just as soon as I clean these were the drawers. So it was, oh, and it was on the fridge. We make homemade chocolate syrup, and so we had some in the fridge, and usually that's an issue. They will make chocolate milk, or they'll use it on their ice cream or something like that, and it tends to drip. And so it was on these drawers, it was on the handle of the fridge, and then it was across the kitchen on the cabinet that I think it was bowls or one of the two. They're right next to each other. But anyway, it had like traveled, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just cleaned all of these. So then you won't see it, but I do go back through and I clean up those areas the very next day. And I think that's kind of the theme for my cleaning is I'll do a really great job now, and then I'll have to redo a little bit the next day, because my kids will put their face on the window, or they'll do this or that, and it doesn't, and you know, they say like you're gonna miss it, and I'm sure I will, but it's just in those moments, it's just funny. So Lincoln, he borrowed my phone to take this picture outside, and so I'm sharing it with you. It is so pretty. And he came inside, and he didn't tell me what he wanted to take a picture of, but he was like, can I borrow your phone? I need to take a picture. And I'm like, oh, sure. I don't know if you could hear in the background, there was just like this huge thing of geese, and they're squawking and stuff in the background. But anyway, so I let him use my phone, and he came back in, and he was so excited to show me this picture. And it was of the sunset. He's like, the sky is like red all in the back. So he wanted to take a picture so we could all see it. And I thought that was super sweet, so cute. I love how he thinks like that. Each of my kids, they are very different. They have their own personalities, and I'm sure that I feel like that's the thing for most families when you have multiple kids, how they just seem so different. That's how me and my brothers were too, but his personality in particular, it's very interesting to me, because he seems like just a bundle of all of my kids' personalities all together. He is very, very creative, and he's also really extremely smart. He loves to explore, and he's always loving to learn. He pays a ton of attention to detail. He is very, very detail oriented. So I am not surprised at all that he was outside playing and stopped to notice the sunset and then wanted to take a picture of that. So anyway, I thought I would share that because I thought that was so, so sweet. So this is how the beef stew turned out. It was so good. It was so great to have after you have been sick for days, and now that the weather is super, super cold. So that turned out great, and that is something that I'll probably be having on the repeat because it is so incredibly easy. This is the very next morning. I'm getting started nice and early because there was so much I wanted to get done. So I primarily got the kitchen done. I did go back, like I said, and wipe down some of the chocolate off of the things. I did not redo the window because it's just, like I said, it's a magnet. So I'm wasting my time even doing these. But I feel like if I don't stay on top of them, we won't be able to see out of them soon. So We also use the windows to write like dry erase stuff for school. The kids have a lot more fun with that, and it just kind of makes learning a little fun, mixing it up a little bit and using the windows and the sliding doors for like dry erase boards. So I do try to get them clean more often so we can do that. The boys also use some of the doors for target practice. They have like these suction cup like bow and arrow, like little toys. So they like using the door for that. So anyway, they just accumulate so much. So I'm getting to all the windows, getting everything nice and clean. We also have had a ton of frost advisories and warnings so the last few days. So I did end up moving our plants inside, and they'll be inside until the spring. However, I don't ever really know what to do with them. A lot of times I'll put them up in my office or like the guest room because they get a ton of sunlight up there. And however, that room does get kind of cold. So anyway, I usually will put our plants up there. I have not fully decided what I'm going to do. I usually will use the lemon, or I'll keep the lemon tree downstairs in the sliding door. And so that's, I think I put that up there. But so you probably saw that. But the other plants are actually just currently all taking up space right when you walk in my front door. I don't know if I end up showing that, but there's like a ton of plants just all over the floor. You can't even walk over there. So I need to figure out a spot for everything. I am getting the couch all fluffed up and blankets put back. The kids, they made a fort the night before, and I don't know why, but they only use my stuff. They never ever use any of their blankets or pillows. So I'm getting that all taken care of. And as you can see, Ted made himself comfortable on our couch. I've tried everything. He won't stay off the couch, and that is one reason why I'm refusing to get a new couch, because he will not stay off of it, and I feel like it's just not smart until my kids are older. So I will not be getting a new couch. We'll be dealing with this one, and that's perfectly fine. This one is comfortable and I don't mind how it looks or anything. So we will have this until my kids are older, or maybe until Ted stops sleeping on the furniture, but I have not been able to train him to do that. He does not listen to me. I am using, I don't even know what this is. It's like, it does really well with pet hair, as you can see. And I'm not really sure what it's called though, but it has like bristles on both sides, and then you follow the direction of the arrows, and it's kind of like a lint roller, but you know, it when you put it inside of that outside casing, it cleans it off, and then you can use it again. So you use it to kind of clean off the hair and stuff, and then you'll put it in the casing, and then it cleans the hair off of the bristles, and then you can, you know, do it again. So I don't know what they're called. I got it off of Amazon years ago. I'm sure they still have them, but I do like it, using it on our couch for Ted's pet hair. So that is what I did there. I forgot that I don't know if I have Christmas pillows or not. It's weird because all of our Christmas stuff is still put away, and I feel like every single year I forget what I have. So I might have Christmas pillows. I can't remember. I also need to start making the switch to pillow covers and not like the actual pillows, because the pillows just take up so much space when storing it. But I still have the Halloween pillows on there. I need to take the cases off and put that away, and then I'll probably just leave them until I figure out if I have pillows or pillowcases for Christmas or not. There was a spot of chocolate, what do you know, on our table here, so I could not get that off with just cleaner, so I ended up getting a butter knife and scraping it off, and that worked perfectly. So now I'm setting everything back and just giving everything a good wipe down, because everything is so dusty. When you have pets and kids, it just seems like it accumulates so much. So I'm making sure I'm wiping it all down whenever I put everything back. That way it's nice and clean. did end up switching the plants around in the living room a little bit, just trying to find a spot for things and, having everything kind of just look okay. I also like switching things around. It just makes things interesting. So this plant was on our coffee table for a very long time, like years maybe, and I would switch it around a little bit, but for the most part it would stay on our coffee table. It did very, very well there, and it has grown so much. So I'm wanting to move that because it's like hitting the floor at this point, and I just kind of moved it over a little bit, so hoping that it still gets that sunshine that it's used to, but that it's not going to be on the floor, dragging and having the cat play with it. That's one of the biggest things. The cat gets to it and messes with it. So hopefully now it won't. And then I just put a smaller plant in its spot. I am now going to start taking down some of the fall and Halloween decor, and then I also will wipe underneath it to get everything, all the dust and everything nice and cleaned up. I hate how I can never kind of really decorate this mantle. I love decorating the mantle on the other side in the kitchen, but this rock wall is really difficult to deal with, honestly. There's no outlets in it or anything like that, so like you have to drag the wires across the wall to where there is an outlet. You have to make sure that you have extra long wires and cords and all that kind of stuff, so it's kind of a pain, and I can't really decorate the mantle because the TV is sitting on the mantle, but it also is attached to the rock wall by like these they're not wires, it's like a metal wire. I don't know how to explain it, but I always want it to be hung on the wall, but it is such a scary process, and I'm just always afraid that it's gonna like fall. So I try my hardest not to really touch the TV because you will never really see me. Like, I'll briefly dust it, but I barely will touch it because I'm terrified of it just falling, and it's really big and probably really heavy. So anyway, it's kind of a bummer. I feel like I can't really decorate the mantle how I would want, but I'm also super scared of the TV falling on me, so it is what it is, I guess. Did you see the amount of dust that just came off of these rocks in front of the fireplace? It was so much. It was so disgusting. Ted, he just sheds all year round, and if you do not stay on top of the sweeping and vacuuming, it can build up so quickly. So I actually usually sweep and vacuum every single day, and then I usually on the weekends will get out the huge vacuum and I'll plug that in, and I feel like it does a little bit better of a job than the cordless one, but I did not want to have to get all of that out, so I just used my cordless one because it was already out. So that is why I'm using that. But yeah, the dog hair is just insane, and if you have pets, I'm sure it is just, you have to constantly be on top of it, otherwise it gets out of hand super quickly. I got this from Hobby Lobby. I don't know how to explain the material. It's almost like a rubbery material, but I really loved how it looked. It was half price from $50, so $25, which kind of bugs me how expensive these are, to be completely honest, but that was probably the best price that I'm going to be able to find. That stuff is so expensive. And Kyle, he always looks at the Christmas lights, and they were $5.99 for this package, and he said that was good. They were also on sale too, so I can't remember how much they were off, but they were only a couple bucks. So we got a couple boxes to see how that goes. A lot of our lights on the kids' Christmas tree went out last year, so we were needing to replace them, and they like the colored ones on their tree. If you weren't here last year, we do a couple different Christmas trees. We do a Christmas tree that I call mine because I primarily decorate it. Kyle, he does help, and he likes to hide ornaments in there that he thinks are gonna bug me. He kind of like plays with me as far as doing that. But anyway, we have that Christmas tree, and it has the breakable ornaments. It has, I always wanted that beautiful, tall Christmas tree that just, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain that. But anyway, so that is what we have for mine. And then we also have a Christmas tree that I just let the kids go wild with. They can make their own decorations, and that is where they put them. They can have whatever ornaments they want. And I just let them go crazy. I let them decorate it. I let them have all the say in their Christmas tree, and they absolutely love it and insist that we do that each year. So anyway, we usually have 2 Christmas trees. However, this year I am considering moving them around. I'm thinking that I don't know. I don't really love the placement of them every year, so I'm thinking that I want to switch that up a little this year, but we will see. I'm not really quite sure yet.
Crowded places, feel it sinking in. Lonely faces, say you need a friend. No matter the distance, I will always be there. No more inhibition, I'll show you I care. You've been lost and alone in the city of lights, I know.
I am pretty much done with the living room and stuff, so I figured I would walk around and show you the finished product there. I still have these totes here because I have not fully put everything away, and I want to reorganize them a little bit better to fit better. So that is there for now. And then usually I always forget things, so I leave them out for a day or two in case, there's some stragglers or whatever. So those are out still. Oh, yeah, okay. So I'm like, why are they still out? This is why. I still have stuff that I'm putting away. Oh, and now that I'm thinking about it, the wreaths on my bedroom door, I've actually forgotten. So this is a good reminder because I need to take those down as well. So anyway, the totes are still out. I'm slowly taking things down, putting them in the totes, and then they're still out because I will find things here and there that I forgot, and I'll leave them out for a couple days just for that purpose. So wiping everything down, still with the same cleaner, the water and dish soap and the citrus essential oil, because I feel like it is so good. You could use it on the windows, you can use it on pretty much any surface, and it does very well getting all that. If you saw, when was that? I don't know, one of my videos recently, I took off all of these plates for like the light switches and plugins in the bathroom and kitchen because the previous owners, they put duct tape over all of them, and I have slowly been peeling off the duct tape and kind of fixing them. A lot of them are like metal and like antique ones, so I don't want to get rid of them, and they're very expensive to buy. So what I've been doing is I have been painting them. So I clean them really well, and then I'm painting them, and first I'll paint them a black, and then I will go in and lightly brush on gold. It kind of makes it look a little bit more antique, and I just like how it turns out. So that is what I have there. I am starting the process of that. I've already cleaned them really well, and I actually let the boys paint them black this time because I'm like, you can't really mess it up, the whole thing. You just coat in black, and then you let it dry for a significant amount of time. I usually will let it dry for like an entire day, so I know that it's dry whenever I go to put on the gold. So that was that, and I'll end up showing you in a video when I'm doing the entire bathroom, but I'm just slowly working on it. And so whenever I get to that, I'll end up showing you the finished product with all of those. this is primarily where we do school, so a lot of us writing on these with dry erase markers is like right here on these doors. Ted also, he will sit at these doors and like rub his nose on them. So they usually will have like dog nose prints or paw prints, and then also the stuff from school that we're working on. I don't know, I've kind of made that switch this year. I never really did it before, but my boys really enjoy doing that. Actually, even my older kids, like Aubrey, she had some algebra formula up at the top that she wrote, so they would remember that when they were doing algebra. And Lincoln and Theo like to do like their spelling words and stuff like that over there, so we usually will use it for that, and it just makes it more fun. You would think that it wouldn't really be that big of a difference, but they really enjoy doing it. I think just because it's not the usual thing, and so it is just something that switches it up, and they are really enjoying drawing on the windows and doors right now with dry erase markers. I also think that they are at the age where they understand to not draw on like walls and stuff. So I feel safe knowing like they don't ever go and try to draw on our walls or doors or anything else, and they don't ever do it with like permanent markers. It's just dry erase markers on the windows. So that's another thing. If you have like smaller kids, they might not be at an age where they will differentiate between that kind of stuff, so just be aware of that if you're wanting to try that with your own kids. But Theo, he's 6 now, and he knows not to draw on walls or anything like that, and he is really good about it. So I know that he's at an age where he can handle using the dry erase markers on our doors. I am moving back into the kitchen, and I'm going to now take down the Halloween and fall in here. I like decorating this mantle. I like doing it different for fall and Halloween, and then also for Christmas. I kind of do different themes for different places, but I also do like to switch it up every year and not have all the exact same stuff in the same places. There was something that I read yesterday that I really loved, and I don't remember exactly how it went, but it was talking about how everybody, these days, they buy all this new stuff and all go crazy with the decor, and how, your kids don't need that they don't need the wow factor of you going out and getting a ton of new things and everything, that they want the same simple things to carry traditions and to make it feel like it is the same stuff that they're used to their whole life. I don't know how to explain that, but I was like, that is so true, and I really try to stick with that for the most part. I'm very, very simple about my Christmas decor, especially when you're comparing it to a lot of other people on YouTube. I am very simple about it, and I like to keep it that way. For one, I don't like going out and spending a ton of money on decor, so I'll usually get 1 or 2 things each year, and I don't go all crazy with it. So please don't expect that from me. If you are watching my channel or following along this year, you will not find that here, because I just don't do that. So I like to keep things very simple, and I liked how they worded that when they were talking about how, kids don't need the whole wow factor. They don't need a ton of things each year, that they will grow up with those simple things that you had every year, and that will be what makes it a tradition and what makes it really special. And, I was like, thank you, because I don't go and buy things, but I want my kids to feel like the holidays are special. So it made me feel a little better, because sometimes I'm very minimal about it, and I do sit there and I wonder, I hope that they know that, I'm trying to make it very special for them, which I think just moms in general really try very hard to make the season magical, and That is definitely something I always love all the different holidays, and I love making them very magical for my kids, but I don't do that in a way where I go out and I'm spending a ton of money on things. I like things very, very simple, and it's like the tasks of baking cookies and stuff like that that I really enjoy doing with them. Okay, so if you're looking at me and you're like, what the heck are you doing? Why are you doing this? Just use a mop. I totally get it. So this is what I was talking about when I was going crazy over these like spots on my floor. While I was doing this, I realized that it is paint. I don't understand where the paint came from. It is basically a pretty big mystery. But I scrubbed this whole area in front of like our island and stuff like that, and I started doing like the baseboards and stuff, and then I realized that it's paint and I'm gonna have to get in here with like a razor blade or something to actually get it up, because this was not working. And it's not that I am like, or I don't know, it's like paint speckles. No idea where it came from, because it's not like we painted this island here. We did it outside and in a different area. And this is primarily where they are. I don't even know if you can really see them, but it's a bunch of paint splatters, and it almost looks like dirt. And that's what I thought it was. I thought it was like dirt from like the kids tracking it in or something. So I scrubbed this area a couple of times, and then I would wipe it up with that rag. And when I realized that it wasn't actually coming up very well, I'm like, you know what, let's just scratch that idea. I'm going to have to go in with a razor. But I was glad to know, honestly, that it wasn't dirt, because when I was wiping it up and stuff, it wasn't like brown or anything like that. And so it's not that the floors, it makes them look very dirty, which was driving me insane, but they weren't actually that dirty. It was just paint splatters from something. So anyway, I stopped doing that. I got probably I think I got to the end of the island, and then I just wiped it up. And I'm using the same bucket with all the soap and stuff in it, so that is why you're seeing all the bubbles and stuff left over. I don't end up showing it, but I go over the floors again with just really hot water to kind of clean all of it up. So there's not just a bunch of soap on the floor. Don't worry, I did not leave it like that, but I didn't want to also mop the floor again and have you watch me mop the floor again, so that is why it was like that. But I'm just like, it is one thing or another, I swear. I'm like sitting here racking my brain. I have no idea what, I'm assuming my kids got into something, because my husband doesn't paint unless I have him paint something, and I hate painting, so if I can opt out of that, I usually do. But anyway, yeah. So I'm assuming that my kids were painting some type of art project, or they got into something, or maybe it was one of the science experiments. I don't really know. But either way, it is all over my floor in little splatters, and it's been driving me crazy, but now at least I know I have a better idea of how to get rid of it. Anyway, here is finally the finished kitchen. It is nice and clean, all put together and ready for us to make dinner and basically ruin it again. If you know, you know. I mean, I swear. I mean, the kitchen is a revolving door, so it is constantly being used, and it does not stay this nice and clean for very long, but I do like to enjoy it in these moments. My boys were playing outside, and I thought that that would be the perfect time to go in their room and tidy up. Usually they are very good at cleaning their room and getting it all tidied up and stuff without me even having to come in here, but there are times where it just needs a mother's touch, so that is what I'm doing. And I find that it is easiest to do that when they are not around. They're kind of like their dad, and it's funny because we have always had this difference, my husband and I. He has, so he's not a hoarder, but like he possibly could be one, like if I wasn't around, if that makes any sense. He hangs on to everything. And it's just, I don't know. And my kids, specifically the boys, they're like that, like Lincoln in particular. We'll go to like Olive Garden, for instance, and he'll ask to bring like the menu home. And it's just like, no, you cannot bring the Olive Garden menu. Like, you don't need that. You'll get another one when we come back. Or we go to Aldi and they want the flyer and they want to keep all the flyers from Aldi. And it's like, why would we keep that? They'll keep like receipts. It's just the weirdest things that they want to hang on to. So anyway, and we've always joked my entire marriage that my husband, he has like hoarding tendencies. And then he always says that I am the opposite. I am an anti-hoarder. I can get rid of anything. And there are things that I hang on to, but far too long. And actually one of my upcoming videos, we're going to go through my closet and get rid of a bunch of things. But yeah, I do not have to hold on to things as much as they do. It just kind of cracks me up. So anyway, while the boys are outside, I do not get rid of like any of their toys or anything like that, but like receipts from Walmart that I bought groceries from, like we're going to get rid of those. So we're not going to hang on to stuff like that. And that is the kind of stuff that they can't get rid of, but I do. And things that they won't notice that is gone, like the receipts or the papers from Aldi, anything like that, that they've been holding on to a little too long, I will get rid of. Also, they do vacuum or sweep their room, but they're only 6 and 8, so they're not the best at it. So I'm going to go through and vacuum and kind of just make sure that it's nice and tidy. Like I said, the mother's touch, something that ever so often you need to do. And if you're looking at their windowsill and you're like, that needs fixed, I know. It is just constant. There is constantly something that needs done and fixed, and that is really, really low on my list. Also, because I'm not really sure what I want to do with it. Not really sure the direction of colors, if I want to just paint it white. They like to sit on their windowsill and read, and then they also like to draw and stuff. So it is covered in crayons and pens and little footprints and paint and all kinds of things. So I'm not really sure if I want to keep it white. So anyway, while I'm thinking about it, it will just remain like that. But I am tidying up their bed. That is one thing with bunk beds. They had twin size beds in here before we had these, before my husband built these bunk beds. And I always would make their beds, and I taught them how to make their beds. But now that they have these bunk beds, they're such a pain to make that I don't really, I do remind them ever so often, but it is not something that like we stay on top of making their beds, because it's just seriously such a pain. So I'm doing the best I can and calling that good enough. I'm folding their blankets and putting that away, just tidying up, getting things put away and wiped down. And honestly, there was not too much. They were playing in here right before they went outside, so there was just some toys that needed put away, but for the most part it was mostly like me needing to wipe things down. Oh yeah, I found a Swedish fish that was like all dried out on Lincoln's dresser. There's also this room in particular I kind of struggle with, because if you are new here, I had a son pass away a little bit after he turned 1, and he was going to be in this room with them. That was the reason why we did the bunk beds. Lincoln and Theo were going to be in the bunk beds, and then over to the left where their desks are was where Hayden was going to have his bed. However, he passed away before we got to that. And so I find it very odd, and I don't really know how to like decorate in here, because it's just I don't know, it's kind of a sore spot, but also I'm just unsure because for so long we were going to have another child in here and we knew how we were going to decorate, and now I kind of just don't approach it anymore because it's very difficult. So anyway, their room, I feel, and it works for them. They each have a dresser. The dressers do need kind of switched out. They came in at this point, as you can see, and they're like, what are you doing in here? However, Theo, he's so sweet. He is like my little shadow. And so like he'll go to his friends and then he'll come back and he'll be like just wanting to like hang out with me. It's so funny. So anyway, he came back and he was like, oh, you did such a good job, Mom. This room looks great. And I'm like, thank you, Theo. So anyway, they were very excited that their room was nice and clean and that they did not have to spend the time to do it. It's nice to have them and learn how to clean their room and know how to do all that. But I know that they really appreciate when you go in every now and then and just give it a nice mother's touch. We are almost at the end of today's video, and if you are still here, thank you so much. You are a real MVP. Thank you so much for hanging out with me all day today. So I actually started when I was editing this video, it was almost 3 hours long. So 55 minutes was quite an improvement over 3 hours, because I cannot imagine. I know I would not probably stick around for 3 hours. I do love watching these longer cleaning videos because then I get a lot done during that time. It's very motivating, and to have someone just in the background that you can listen to while you're doing cleaning yourself. So I do really enjoy these longer videos for that. But as you can see, this huge pile is actually all of my stuff. So in my upcoming videos, one of them coming up soon, I'm going to be going through my closet, getting rid of things, really clearing out things, and starting to really go through that decluttering process. I think it is very necessary right before Christmas time, right before the holidays. So that is something I'm going to be doing, and I still have not actually put this pile of stuff away because I don't want to until I go through the whole decluttering process. So this huge mound of laundry is basically all mine, and we will be going through that in another upcoming video. But if you have hung out this long, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you can subscribe if you're not subscribed, comment, that really helps out my channel. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.